Alright, we're going to be watching Bread, who's playing Tracer on Midtown. This is Platinum 1 on PC. Can't break the barrier to get the Diamond with Tracer. I'm currently trying to get the Diamond with Tracer, but I just can't seem to get past Plat 1. I know the season's been pretty tough for Tracer in lower ranks, but I still want to prove to myself that I can play a hard character well enough. I'm a Master support player. I've gotten to Diamond and DPS a couple times. I've been playing Overwatch since 2018. I have about 150 hours in Tracer, most of the time last season, this season. I do aim warm up in Daxta before I play. It's been annoying that I usually go on huge win, lose streaks, etc., etc. There's like some stuff here about just generally having a hard time getting to Diamond. In my head, I know that Tracer's value doesn't come from getting picks nowadays, and I do try to be as annoying as possible to distract and force cooldowns. However, it just seems impossible to have a lot of valuable uptime if I need to recall constantly or die as soon as someone looks at me. I'm kind of at a loss how to really carry games without going in and confirming kills consistently every time I engage. Some of the strats I see and read online make sense, but seem really difficult to pull off. For example, if there's a pharmacy in the enemy team, I know to target the other support, but it feels impossible to do that all the time when the other support is always with the team or their Kiriko. It's gotten to the point I've been starting to switch to other characters when things look too bleak, and the game just feels a lot easier, but not as rewarding since it feels like I'm cheating towards the goal I'm aiming for. Alright, so this is going to be Midtown. This is going to be one of the losses that they posted. I would start by saying, if you want to get better at Tracer, there is no way to get better at Tracer without playing Tracer. Duh. If you feel like games are hard as Tracer, keep playing Tracer, like, because that's your goal, right? If your goal is not like win this game, and your goal is simply get good at Tracer, you should force Tracer in all situations, right? No matter how bad it looks, you should force Tracer, because that's the best way you're going to learn how to play Tracer well, is just forcing Tracer in all situations. Again, it's possible one trick Tracer to top one, right? Like, Tracer is definitely the highest skill ceiling, or certainly one of like top 3 highest skill ceiling heroes in the game. So you can force Tracer in all situations, all the way up to the highest possible ranks. So if your goal here is not winning games, but winning games as Tracer, keep playing Tracer, right? Because whenever you switch off, that's a lost opportunity to gain more experience as Tracer. I know it's going to suck in the short term because you can lose games that you could otherwise win if you switched, but I mean, your goal is your goal, right? It's game, play for your own goals. That's number 1. Number 2, having watched this game, I think that you have 2 main issues. Number 1 is a sense of timing, and number 2 is a sense of positioning. I think your mechanics are not that big a problem right now. I think you could definitely get to Diamond with your current level mechanics. I think you won't get out of probably even to high Diamond without improving your mechanics, but at least at this point, I think your primary issue is that you don't seem to know when to go and where to be. And I'm going to cover this video, but I would also point out that I just did another Masters level Tracer video where I talked, I think it's Masters 1 even, where I talked through how to win games when you can't mechanically diff the enemy through space control, which Tracer's super, super good at. And I recommend that you watch that as well. I'll try to link it if I remember. Alright, so let's start here. 5 seconds before the beginning of the match, you're on defense, you're in Midtown, you're going to hide here by dumpster. Okay, fine. Like, if this is what you want to do, this is okay. You're setting up for to go after the backline. So I'm going to count right now how long it is until you do something from when the enemy team starts engaging. All right, so right about now, right, Arisa's walking forward, you pop cooldowns, like this is the moment where the fight has like started. So I'm going to zoom out so we can see where you are, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then you die. So, for starters, you cannot go 14 seconds without doing something. Like, there's just no way that you can expect your team to win a 4v5 for that long. Like, that's like crazy how long you were just not engaged in this fight at all. And I get that you're like kind of trying to be super like ninja sneaky about like fighting someone, but like honestly, even if you came in and you just one-clipped somebody because of this, your team still had to fight for almost 15 seconds without you, which means that they probably lost someone already, gave up a ton of space, and there's nothing you can do at that point. This is why the first point, timing, is really important. You need a sense of urgency here. You can't just leave your team to have to fight a 4 and 5 for that long. You're extremely lucky that the enemy tank makes a huge mistake and dies here. In most scenarios, especially at higher levels, their team would just run over your team, and I'd be like, if I was the opposing tank, I'd be like, okay, cool, I have no idea where the other DPS is, but I know it's a 5 on 4, so I'm just going to kill your team because you don't have enough damage to stop me. So this is like, the timing here is really bad. Like, you gotta go. And you have a lot of different options that you could have played here, right? I don't think Tracer's like so strong in this particular section of the map. Right? I think a lot of Tracers probably would play passively and just let the enemy team advance to here, and then play like somewhere over here, for example, or let them come even further and then play from like these rooms as an option. So I think that you can start from here maybe, but I think going through this long flank in the back line / like trying to pick off someone in the high ground just takes you too long, way too long. At this point, you could have already heard like, hey, there's nobody here, and you got to get going, right? Like, you have opportunities here to do something, and you just did it. It's very lucky that I think your team wins this fight anyway. But from there, so I think the enemy team is probably like, hey, what the heck? Did he hear you blink? Is that what happens? Yeah, I heard footsteps right there. The sound volume's low because of I don't want to override my mic audio, but you can hear right there that he hears the footstep and he looks for it. So he's already clocking in his head that you are somewhere and he's looking for you, right? Looking, right? See, he pings it right there. He's looking, waiting, and he kills you. Now, this Hanzo / Widow later has your number all game long. And why does he have your number? Why is it so easy for he's going to headshot you like basically every single time he sees you? Why does he have your number? Because you move predictably. You see how you're opening the clip and you just walk to the left? So all he has to do is lead you, and it's an easy kill. Like, this is the kind of movement, and I think that because you play support, you're not like as used to like the mechanics of fighting 1v1 duels, but this is a very predictable movement path. He knows you're coming, he's pinging, he's looking for you because you already made footstep sounds, so he's ready for you, looking at you. The second you come around the corner, if you see this Hanzo looking at you, you are in grave danger. This is not the period of time to be like, I'm going to shoot him. This is the period of time to be like, I need to blink, for example, into this doorway, right? Or into this doorway, or backwards. I mean, that would be the worst option. But like, you need to get out of his line of sight because he's already tracked you, right? You die the more time as Tracer, you're gonna get one shot for the more time that the enemy has to aim at you, and the longer you are moving in a consistent direction. Both of those two things are factors in why you get killed by snipers, and heroes in general, but especially snipers, okay? The Hanzo sees you, he's ready, you're dead center in his screen, you're moving in a predictable direction to the side, right? That is why you die. Little things like that like micro, like less than half a second reaction, like you have to read that and be like, I'm in grave danger, I blink. Okay, I understand that it was unexpected that he was looking at you here because you didn't realize that you made noise, but the second this happens, I'm out of here. As any hero, Tracer or anybody, I immediately realize I'm like potentially gonna die right now. And that's something you need to build as Tracer. There's no real way to get better at that besides practice. A lot of practice, right? Tracer is gonna be one of the hardest DPS, hardest heroes in the game to play. You're probably better at Soldier with, 5 hours of play than you are at Tracer with 150. Like, the journey between you and like getting to like even high diamond is probably literally like another 100 hours plus of gameplay. It's gonna be a long climb, most likely. Just being real here. Okay, so noting here, also, it is the wrong choice to be shooting him right now. So I want to show you how little damage you do right now. All right, so you're here, you get the Hanzo, you're gonna shoot, and by the time you die, he has not been healed at all. The Hanzo has taken 17 damage. He has taken 17 damage, and you fired 28 shots. Now, granted, not all the shots were on target, but I mean, it's also hard to be on target from that far away. I guarantee you, even if all the shots were on target, like, you would do so little damage. You can't be Tracer shooting people from, this is about 25 meters away. You can't be Tracer shooting people from 25 meters away. This is not a thing. Like, this damage is completely irrelevant. The Hanzo could literally stand still and you still couldn't kill him. Like, this can't be a thing. And this is something we're also going to see in the game in general, where you're going to shoot at people from outside of your effective distance. Not all the time, but some of the time. And it tips people off that you're there because you poke them and they're like, wait, why am I getting hit? But the poke damage isn't meaningful, so you got to stop doing this, right? You got to engage from a lot closer. So I would say that already you deserve to lose the first point because of this, but thankfully your team wins a 4 and 5. Great, you come back over. So let's think about this. Where do I want to be as Tracer? I do not want to be clumped with my team. I'm not good at being clumped with my team, right? I'm very fragile. I get spammed down. I have no ability to get off angles. And if I'm with my team, I usually can't get closer because everyone's staring at me. So I want to be anywhere that is not clumped with my team. One option would be up here, and you can poke people down, right? One option would be, can you actually stand up here? Actually, I've never tried. But like, you could play over here. You could play this room. You could play like the bus stop, right? There's options here. Do not play here. This is the worst possible spot for you to stand. So you're sort of an off angle right now. Okay, you go high ground. Okay, this is fine. Working the Orisa. Let's think for a second. Why did you do this? You have an angle to shoot the Orisa. 4 to 5 will be ending soon because you saw it popped early. The Orisa's made like a lot of mistakes so far. Why did you drop here? Right? Like, what what was going through, it's a rhetorical question, obviously you can't answer, but whatever was going through your mind that told you to drop right now is a mistake. There is no reason why a 150 health hero wants to drop into all 5 enemy team members right now. Nobody's even low. It's not like you're dropping in to try to like confirm a kill. Like, oh yes, like Junkrat's super low around the corner, you're trying to drop in to get the kill rewind. There's nothing going on here. This is like just a complete blunder, right? Totally unforced. It gets you low, and it forces you to now have to burn out 2 blinks just to get over here, and you're still in 1-shot range. That Junkrat can kill you one right now just by throwing a mine over here and blowing you up, which will force another blink or rewind. And because of this, you can't play aggressive because you're super low. Nobody in your team is able to heal you because the DR doesn't see you and the Moira can't reach that far. Right? So now you're just chilling here doing nothing. This damage you're doing is nothing. Like, this is like a nothing burger. Like, nothing is happening right now with the damage that you're doing. You're doing less damage than a Torbjorn turret. Okay? Like, which only does 44 DPS. You literally do no damage that matters at all to the fight at this range. You cannot be doing this. If you're like, hey, look, this fight's serious, I need to win, you should already be over here working them down, right? Blinking out, following the pressure of your Ramasha, who's currently in Nemesis form. That's what you need to be doing right now. Instead, you come back all the way over here, and like, again, like, you have so little impact on the fight because you put yourself in bad positions. Now you flank up top. This is probably one of the worst possible ways you could do this. There is a world where this makes sense, but you have to use multiple blinks just to get here. Now, you could have one-clipped the Junkrat right here. You get blown up. You have to rewind. And now you decide to challenge again, despite the fact that you don't have rewind and you only have 2 blinks here. So this is very dangerous. As a reminder, Junkrat can one-tap you here, right? Shift left click instantly kills you. Like, you'll have less than half a second to respond. So if like, are you gonna gamble? Like, what? All right, one way to look at this is, I never expect to win fights where I die, right? If I make a mistake, I expect my team to lose. That's the mentality you need in order to climb. If I make a mistake, I deserve to lose. My team deserves to lose. I never expect my team to carry me through a team fight win. Will it happen sometimes? Absolutely. But I don't expect that. So if you're going here and fighting this right now without rewind and 2 blinks, are you going to gamble the outcome of this fight? Because if you die, assume you lose. Are you going to gamble the outcome of the fight on your ability to dodge the one-shot here, which is fairly easy for him to hit? And in like the average case scenario, you still take like something like 60 damage from the splash of the mine explosion. I don't want to gamble on that, right? I want to gamble on like a 90% scenario. Like, oh, Junkrat's got 40 health, not looking at me. I'm coming in behind them. Yeah, I'll gamble my fight on that. But I don't want to gamble on this. This is not a good fight. You have to understand percentages. What are the odds of me winning this fight? Why am I taking this 1v1 duel? That's the essence of playing basically all DPS, right? Certainly all the close range DPS need to understand, what are my odds of winning this fight? And the best DPS are the ones that consistently take fights when they're advantaged, and if they're not under any pressure, they're going to keep searching for the highest percentage plays. Right? The ones that are 80-90%. They'll only take a 60% fight, which 40% chance that they die, right? They only take a 60% fight if they have no choice, right? They're going to look for the 80 to 90 to 100% fights because those are the ones that are like slam dunks, like, yeah, we're going to get this. This was a bad fight from beginning to end, right? You blew 2 blinks to get over here, all right? You don't really need to be here at all to begin with. You happen to find a Junkrat who is low. You are not able to finish him, even though he's super low at the beginning of that, right? Super, super low. Like, I think he only has 40 health going into this. He has 68 health going into this. Like this should be a kill. You only did 44 damage here, right? This should have been a kill. You blink into this one, which forces the rewind. By the way, you could have shot him and killed him right there. You can already tell that you have time to kill him. So when you blink here, you can see that his grenade's in the air to the right. You have the opportunity to kill him right now and then rewind. Now, you might say, how am I supposed to react to that? I hate to break it to you, but like, that's what better tracers are going to do. You're going to need to improve your reaction time. And a huge part of it's instinctual, right? It comes from hundreds, if not thousands of hours grinding away on Tracer. And I know everyone loves Tracer because the idea of Tracer is great, like the solo carry, winning all the 1v1s, making amazing plays. But like, this is a play that even I think a Diamond Tracer would make here, like pretty easily, because you have a lot of time here to actually think through what's going on relative to harder situations. But then continuing to re-engage here, knowing the Junkrat is here, knowing he has cover, and knowing he's with his backline so he gets healed, this is a big mistake, right? Everything about this, I think, is symbolic of the issues, like the weaknesses you have in Tracer right now. You're not consciously thinking about why you're making choices, or you're making choices that don't give you high percentage outcomes, good outcomes. Right? See, Junkrat pushes you back. Notice the Orisa's super overextended. The Orisa's like the worst person on their team. No offense to the player. I'm just saying, like, it's very obvious, like, looking at this play, that the Orisa's consistently making, like, really bad choices. So, you have the opportunity here to not go after the Orisa, because the Orisa's really far away. Like, yeah, you could shoot her, but you understand her backline's coming in right now. You can't deal any damage to the Orisa right now. This damage you're doing is irrelevant. As the tank, even if I'm the enemy tank with like no health here, I don't want you shooting this Orisa. This Orisa has full health, right? And she's spinning into me with her backline coming in. I want you to kill the backline. That's what I want you to do right now. I need you to take some pressure off me so I can heal, recover, and take advantage of Orisa's blown cooldowns. I do not need you to shoot the Orisa from 25, 30 meters away doing 0 damage, right? You should need to do something about the rest of the team. But the problem is you have no rewind now, and you're low on blinks, and then you're gonna die. So, like, on a 1 to 100 scale of value, right, where 100 is like hardest possible carry, like you just are dominating the fight, and 1 is like AFK, right, not even in the fight. I think this is that your performance on the first point is like a 15. You know, there's no part of this that seems to demonstrate that you understand what your role is or what fights you need to take. And I can cover these specific scenarios, but something that might be helpful is looking at higher ranked Tracer gameplay, and especially on the maps that you have trouble with, like let's say Midtown or Numbani or Junkertown, right, the other ones that you listed as losses, and look at their gameplay and be like, what decisions are they making, and why is it effective for them and not effective for me? Because there's only so much I can cover here in VOD review, especially as not a high-level Tracer player. I can just tell you, like, everything you're doing right now is, like, clearly, objectively wrong. All right, so we're going to cover a little more here. You're just playing, that's fine, right? Poke out, you're going to blink. That was slow, by the way, the Javelin. The Javelin's, like, well past you by the time you blink. So Javelin goes up, you see, it's already well past you by the time you blink. Like, this is literally over twice the distance of where you were. You need better reactions. If you're blinking because you're worried about the Javelin, you should have blinked already. And if you think you could dodge the Javelin without blink, then don't blink. Don't blink after it's already happened. Now, granted, this could be a reaction time issue, but I'm just noting, as Tracer, you need S-tier reactions. Like, I cannot emphasize this enough. Tracer has like 0 margin for error. Everything in the game kills you nearly instantly. There's no margin of error for Tracer, which makes her a magical hero when everything's happening. But when you're not feeling, you're not fast enough, it's gonna be a hard time. Try to kill Tyre because you're Cassie. Yeah, what are you gonna do about it? So it's a 5-4 situation right now, or 4-5, right? You're disadvantaged. Again, I would note the damage you're doing right now is irrelevant. You have to figure out right now, hey, look, are we actually going to try to win this fight? If we're going to try to win the fight, I need to go in and start doing something. But if we're playing defensively, then it's fine for me to chill. So team's backing up. All right, this is fine. Yep. So you're repositioning, which is great. You want to take an off angle. However, I would note, this is where maybe playing tank would be helpful. You need to know where the next fight is. Okay? If you had to look at this right now, and you had to guess, where's the next fight going to be? Is it going to be here? Is it going to be here? Or is it going to be here? Keep in mind that your Junkrat just died, right? So the next fight is not going to be here because your team's already pulling back. Your team is retreating to the next point, which is the correct thing to do. They don't want to fight now, stagger and die, and then totally lose the second point. So the next fight's not going to be here. You want to be on the off angle of where the next fight is going to be, not where the off fight just was. So this off angle right now is useless because everyone here is able to just walk forwards, right? They don't care about, even if you go right, like, see, all 5 people are like, why is there a Tracer here? Right? It immediately forces out rewind, and now you don't have rewind, and now they don't have to worry about you. Like, that's the kind of thing that is so indicative that, like, I don't think you understand what you're supposed to be doing. Like, I feel like you've heard these, like, overall principles of, like, oh, yeah, I'm supposed to harass the backline, etc. But, like, when you do it is important. Harassing 5 people by yourself is not a productive use of your time. Right? So you're playing here, again, I think another one where you blink after the Javelin's already passed you. Yeah, that Javelin's already passed you by the time you blinked. So, again, like, if you're going to look at this, the cue should be, okay, her arm goes up, then you blink. Like, this reaction time is just not going to cut it. You're only missing 6 health right now. You push this way to try to go for low ground. I don't think this is the right call, because it's going to take you too long to get there, and there's no cover here. Like, if you fight here, you have no choice but to rewind out of it. Versus, when you were here, you could have jumped and blinked here. I think you could actually jump this way and blink over. and then play high ground here, and then it's one blink into the fight instead of like a long walk and then a run over here. And then like by the time you get here, like what do? You see, you're already missing 2 blinks right now just to get over here. You do happen to kill the Hanzo. I think this is mostly somebody else's damage. I don't think you did very much. Yeah, you like barely tapped him. All right, you work the Orisa because she's not looking at you. Great, right? You get on the off angle, great. But like your team pretty much won this fight without you. Like you didn't do anything. Like literally, if you were not in this fight, it would have been the same. The Rosh is gonna die because he's also a fool. Both tanks in this game not doing so well, not doing so hot. But the funny thing here is, after you win this fight, you see your Ramattra going in. Where are you going? Like, why are you not on the same page? The rest of your team is trying to push in to help your Ramattra. Why are you the one running all the way over here? Like, what's going through your mind right now as to why you're so far away? Like, this doesn't make any sense. And I can't even guess what you're thinking here, like why you decide to take this really long rotation back. Now, Orisa kills another one. Now you're trying to go in. But the record, you need to be tracking heroes, all right? If you're Masters in support, you should know at all times what is the current fight situation by numbers. Are we up or are we down? This is a 3-on-5 situation. Why are you blinking in trying to throw pulse now? Like, you don't have a tank? Actually, sorry, it's a 4-5. That just killed the what the heck is that? The Ari turret. So it's a 4-5 right now, but you have no tank, which means the odds of you winning this fight are very, very low. Your tank is also on your backline right now. But you whiff the pulse. Honestly, not the worst pulse I've seen. I've definitely seen worse ones. Like, general idea, but like I still disagree with this timing. I think you should just given up this fight and just played slow. Because you're not winning this fight without your Ramattra, right? You see, like, none of this matters. Like, you're not able to push in. Like, if you killed 2 with that pulse, could you have won it? Yeah, probably, right? Because the resource was really, really low. But, like, that's such an unlikely play. Why not save pulse for a better opportunity? And that's where percentages matter so much. Like, why throw away pulse in a fight that I have a 20% chance to win and relies on me to double sticks, like, double pulse bomb people, right? Versus being like, you know what, like, we can just give up this fight, let my roster spawn, and then throw pulse in the next fight where I have, like, a 70 to 90% chance of winning the fight. It's just, like, a bad use of resources. It's surprising to me because I feel like, again, Masters on support, like, unless you played Mercy, like, I feel like the other supports all have things like this where you have to think about percentages of plays. So this is why it is surprising to me because I'm not feeling, typically when I see supports play DPS, the issues are mechanics, right? They're not able to do 1v1 duels, they don't have the right movement, they don't have the right aim, et cetera, et cetera. But they usually have good game sense because, like, how did you get to Masters on support? I'm not feeling that, like, Masters level games, like general game sense, not even Tracer level game sense. I'm not feeling the Masters level game sense out of this play, which I think is unfortunate. I think that it probably is there somewhere, but I think that maybe your Tracer play is, like, totally throwing you off as to what you should be doing or, like, what you should be tracking. By the way, right here, you can see the healing right there. Just stay here for a second. Get healed. Right? You don't need to go for this mega because it also gives your Moira ult charge. And again, as a support, you should know that. And it's funny because I forgot that this happened, but that's like a second good example where I'm like, I'm not feeling the Masters level game sense out of your play. All right, you're going to come here. You're trying to go on the flank. For the record, the crouch spam is like sort of effective, but yeah, it doesn't sound like they can hear it. So I think that was reasonably effective at getting here. So this should have been, this is where mechanics, probably one of the scenarios where, like, better mechanics would have been way more damage here. So, like, honestly, it could be worse. I mean, it's like a hard angle to get it, but I think you do well in the next one. Yeah, that's pretty good. Right? And then you get the kill. Excellent. So we'll take it. Yep. So that's like the first play that you've made that made any difference on the outcome of this fight, right? Getting that kill is important. You're looking for more, right? That's a good shot on the Junkrat. You should know. So, a huge part about playing DPS is understanding what tools does the enemy have and what are they going to do next. If you hide around a corner here, what is this Junkrat going to do? He's going to throw a mine and he's going to pop it in your face. So why am I staying here letting him pop it in my face? And now I have to use rewind instead of using blink. So for example, right here, like I could go here and then immediately blink to the other side or blink to the stairs and out. And that way try to save my rewind for a little bit longer. But now I pop rewind, and now I'm in trouble because I could potentially get chased down here, which, for the record, is exactly what happens. So, look at it from their perspective, okay? Hey, Tracer's in here. I'm going to throw mine in. Okay, easy pop. I got the damage marker. I know she's injured. She rewinds. Great. By the way, you could have gotten blown up right there, and you're lucky to not rewind into the trap as well. You're going to go across. Orisa chases in. This is actually a really good play by the Orisa. Tracks you because you're not listening to the footsteps at all, and javelins you. You hear this the whole time. I can hear in my left ear right now. I can hear the Orisa footsteps coming. Then I hear the javelin, and then I'm going to die. This is so easy for you to dodge if you just have a little bit more awareness. Right? Like, she's really close to you. She's not like javelining you from here. Like, she's very close. I can hear the footsteps very clearly, and I'm on 12% sound right now. Like, you knew this in game. Like, whether or not you knew it, like, you easily should have heard this in game. So, like, there's just so many of these mistakes that happen. And, like, all the gameplay kind of looks like this, right? Where, like, it's just, like, it doesn't really feel like you know what you're doing. So I'm going to skip forward. Offense actually goes reasonably well here. I think you go through the first 2 points okay. Again, this is not the place you want to... I never want to be standing here. This is how you just get blown up, right? I want to be playing like some angle over here or some angle over here. I do not want to be standing in the open trying to shoot people. That's just not a good use of your time. Genji doesn't have... I remember he doesn't have dash or deflect here, so you should have killed him. I think you see the Genji dash in. Right, he's at 100 health. I have no idea what the heck this Genji is doing. Right? Oh, he doesn't dash, but regardless, you should have killed him right here. Also, don't blink melee people unless it's actually going to kill them. It significantly reduces your DPS because it interrupts your reload. So, reminder, do I want to be here? Do I want to be clumped with my team? I do not. Right? If I'm going to do this, I want to double blink past them and play this side, or I want to play here, or I want to play this side. Right? Like, why am I trying to force my way like into the most spammy part right now? This is just not a good idea. Right? And then of course you're going to die here. Same thing, right? You just walk into spam and then you die. Like this can't happen. This is like these are the easiest mistakes to correct. Just literally don't stand with the rest of your team. Because it's such a terrible idea. Like, if you're Cassidy, yeah, great, go do this. If you're Reaper, if you're Symmetra, if you're Torb, go ahead and do this. Torb's playing in generally the right spot, and he's overextended, but, like, generally the right spot. Why are you, as Tracer, one of the most mobile heroes in the game, playing in the center of your team, getting killed by spam? That's a really bad call. Alright, we're going to skip forward. Right, again, cap second point, which is great, excellent. So let's start covering the ending. So, you work your way right side, okay, fine. Right, tree's up right now for the record. So tree's up, so everyone within line of sight, that's a pretty large radius, is going to get healed. There's no way you're killing anyone up here, just chill. Right, like, why are you trying to duel? You see how little damage you're doing to the Life Weaver? The Life Weaver is standing still shooting at you, because the Life Weaver has a good understanding of mechanics and realizes that you can't do any damage to him. Right? You just did 45 damage to him, and then Tree immediately just healed almost all of that. And in exchange, what does he do? He forces out your rewind. This is just bad ability management, right? Everything about this just says, it's like, do you know how much Tree heals for? Do you know how little damage you do? Right? This is an issue with aim or mechanics. Like, you just don't seem to know, like, hey, this is a thing that I can't be doing right now because Tree is up, my team's all the way back here. Like, we got plenty of time. Like, just sync with your tank. Let your tank make pressure. Don't try to force your way into 3 people with Tree up. Like, this is not a winning fight for you. And if you don't know that, like, you just need a lot more game time to like recognize like what does or does not work. All right, you work the Orisa on the side. As soon as she fortifies, forget her, right? Go for the other people on the team. The Junkrat here, for example, or the supports, or anybody that's not the Orisa. Like, look how little damage you're going to do this Orisa. So these are full damage shots, okay? What you're doing is like you're just basically 100% accuracy. Look at the Orisa and how little damage she's going to take. 609, 563, 469, right? So you just blew through like 2 full clips on her, right? Alright, 1, that's got some damage fall off there. 2, 3. So, you just wasted 3 clips, you did about 160 damage to the Orisa. Is that worth it? Do you think, hey, if I do 160 damage to the tank, I'm gonna win this fight? Probably not, right? You probably think, man, that's really not a lot of damage. That's like not gonna actually change anything. If you do 160 damage to the Junkrat, yeah, that might win you a fight, because the Junkrat's gonna have to play differently as a result. So I think that's like something to think about here, right? Then you do like another clip right here. Let's watch my cat's meowing in the background. 469. So you do another clip right here. Great, you just did 119 damage. Who cares? You did 119 damage to a tank. It doesn't do anything. This is like what's so important. Like I cannot emphasize this enough. It's like the damage you do is totally meaningless. Right? Should be a Junkrat. Right? Decent tracking there. That's good. For the record, don't forget there is a mini here that you can use. This is just a prayer of a pulse. Like you had no idea if this was gonna land or not. You're just chucking it to chuck it. Like the Junkrat is off your screen when you throw that pulse, clearly moving to the left. Like he's not even here. You're just hoping that he strafes back in. Good players do not rely on luck to win games. All right? They track enemy players and they put pulse into the direction that they're moving without giving them any time to respond. That's what good pulses are like. This is just literally like throwing a shot into the air and hoping you hit someone. Jump slow. Right? And then you guys win this one. So the issue is everything's gonna fall apart in final. You don't have a lot of time here. So you decide to flank by going through spawn. As a reminder, you should know, and if you don't know, I don't know what to say to you, because again, you're masters in support, right? Like you need to know this. You should know that one of the DPS is dead and they are respawning, which means they're gonna come out of this door and be looking at you. So whatever you're gonna do, you better do it fast, right? Or you need to pick a different option. So for example, working your way this way and taking control of train, and then working in from there. That's like a safer option than trying to play spawn. But instead you choose to play spawn, which is fine. Like you can get away with this, but you need to have good mechanics and good timing. Is that what happens here? Right? Spamming crouch, waiting. Okay. So like you already took quite like your window is like 4 seconds. Like that's you have to do whatever you're gonna do in 4 seconds and then get out, because otherwise the DPS that responds is gonna come after you. Right? Does this look like it's effective? Right? And I hate to like keep like beating a dead horse here, but like this is why you're having so much trouble. Is because this whole plan was poorly thought out, A, but B, poorly executed as well. You're trying to force a fight deep in their spawn with surrounded on all possible sides, and again, as the most fragile hero in the game, and you're trying to do this with a DPS respawning behind you that you don't know the exact spawn. I guarantee you don't know the exact spawn timing when they're going to come out, and you don't even know what hero they're going to come out as, because they could have swapped as well. Then you don't have a sense of urgency. You should have gone for the one clip right there. Like if you're going to do this, this should have been a one clipped attempt. I am not dodging here. I'm not focused on trying to get behind cover. I am emptying this whole clip in, running at it, zigzagging towards him, trying to get the one clip, and then I rewind and get out. That has to be your plan here. Once lamp goes up, fine. You force lamp, just blink and get out, right? You've already done like an okay amount of value. Both supports are pulled back, right? Lamp is enforced. Double blink out of here, then work down the junk or the Orisa, or triple blink and get in the train and be safe. But instead, you try to kill the lamp, despite the fact that you have to know, hopefully, that there's no way you're going to kill either support here. There's two supports staring at each other. There's zero chance you're going to kill anybody right now. Like this would be like an unbelievable one clip right now, because one clip only does like 240 damage, but the Lifeweaver is going to get one heal in before you can finish that one clip. So in reality, you need to do something like 290 damage in order to get this kill. That's nuts. That's like saying that you got to hit all your shots and 40-ish% of them have to be headshots. That's not likely to happen. Like that's just clearly like an insurmountable barrier for you to possibly do, even if you were a GM level tracer. Like a GM level trader just leaves. Like this is not like a position where you can win this fight, right? Then you rewind. Now you have to burn all your blinks. You walk straight into Junkrat, who heard you coming the whole time. He's like, oh, blinking, great, kills you, because he also hears the rewind too, right? So he's gonna hear this rewind right now. He's like, okay, wait, there's Razorbacker, he reloads, looks for you, insta kill. And that's also the one-shot combo I'm talking about. Even if you weren't low here, you'll notice that he throws the mine as well, right? Grenade, mine, pop. So actually, you were at full health, so you needed the mine, right? That combo comes out so fast at close range. Do you think you could possibly rewind that? Probably not. Like, there's no way I could do that. Like, it's way too close. Even if you were this far away, it's still really hard to consistently rewind before that kills you. So, like, that's what you kind of need to be dealing with in terms of like understanding like where how to play Tracer well into the 1v1s. I would cover the rest, but it's pretty much the same thing. Okay, I want to emphasize two most important things. Number one, when should I engage? Number two, where do I engage from? And I strongly recommend that you look up higher ranked Tracer play to think about this. Okay, because I think that's going to do a much better job than I can at explaining like how to play Tracer better. I can do a much better job of identifying what you're doing wrong, but showing you, like, I don't have the Tracer hours. Like, I don't have 1,000 hours in Tracer. I can't be like, hey, look, here's my Tracer gameplay. Like, watch, this is how you play Tracer. I just can't, right? Like, I can play Tracer in like mid to high diamond maybe, but like that's like the limit of my Tracer ability, and I think that honestly might even be overestimating my abilities. But like you can look at much better Tracers and be like, how do they play this, and try to emulate their gameplay. Okay, I'm gonna stop there. Hopefully this is helpful.